Alright guys, Shotty T here with another Alliance War video. This, I believe, is war number 7 of the season. So we still got 4 more videos to put up. We're currently in the very last war of the season at the time that I'm editing this video. Like I said, we previously recorded all of these fights, obviously, but just been pretty busy, to be honest with you, with poker. Just got back from another vacation. And then, of course, we were sick the week before, so we're just getting caught up. So, opponent is running Bulwark this war, so it's gonna be different type of challenge. But as you can see, I'm highlighting some suicide rosters out here to be aware of. Usually I warn the Alliance, especially when it comes to this particular defender, because redoubled determination makes it to where if you have a Warlock, that fight is much easier on that node, or Quake, obviously. It doesn't matter whether he has willpower or not, but I believe that particular opponent did have suicides, so it did open up other possibilities to that fight. But so there's the layout. Not too bad. Now that Quake is a quick, tricky placement there, especially if she gets all those furies, passive furies combined with aftershock if you get hit by her SP1, or just incur aftershock charges on you. Because I know how that feels with the tide of combat in the abyss, not the abyss, but incursions. That Quake damage can be pretty potent with those furies. But anyway, first fight here, we have a Mysterio. Now we're just gonna Quake this fight. Now usually when I Quake ebb and flow knockdown, when I knock down the opponent while quaking, like when they're stunned and concussed, of course, it pretty much effectively eliminates ebb and flow knockdown for the remainder of the fight. But of course, in this case, as long as Mr. Mysterio's helmet is active, he's immune to ability accuracy reduction. So when I knock him down, unfortunately, I will get rid of ebb and flow for protection, but it will come back once my passive fury expires. So the only thing I really have to worry about is that when my passive fury expires and he just happens to be stunned, I have to be immediately ready for him to restore it like he did just there. So, like I said, he's immune to ability accuracy reduction while the helmet's active. So other than that, it's not really much, because I'd rather knock him down so I can have that passive fury, speaking of, to make my quaking damage him more instead of taking the fight slow. But so there's that fight. That's not much to that one. All right, next fight we got a Professor X. Now, Professor X does have a mechanism when he gets a certain amount of cerebral charges that opponents can't evade him, so Quake is not a great option here. So we're just going to use Sorcerer Supreme. Of course, he can be tricky on this node if you don't know how to fight him. Human Torch probably the best option against him on this node. But of course, the way that these opponents place defense nowadays, it's kind of hard to bring the ideal matchup. So the main thing I have to manage, of course, other than the ebb and flow knockdown, I gotta manage the falter. So I have to pay attention when that counts down to 0. Of course, it's unstoppable. Heavy attack. And of course, you can parry his first medium from a distance. So you can it's kind of like you have to treat him like Yondu. So otherwise, if you try to parry his light attack, you won't parry, and then he'll do his heavy attack at times that you can't interrupt. Now, the thing about Sorcerer that makes her a decent option here is that when she has that slow debuff on the opponent, then the unstoppable you don't have to worry about. So you may see me take advantage of that a couple of times during this fight. But of course, he will purify all debuffs once my fury expires. So I always have to be careful. So basically, whenever he throws, especially has a very long delayed time. So I use that opportunity if his falter is down to 0 or I'm guaranteed to miss the next attack. I just use that to go in there to purposely miss a hit so that way you can refresh that passive falter. Now, of course, Human Torch, those attacks to his block will trigger uh, Nova Flame charges, Smolder charges, I mean. And when his temperature is above 10, attacks can't miss, so that's the reason why he's a better option there. But we had someone take down that Domino. So next fight here, we have a Korg. I think my energy was getting kind of full at this point, or it might be already full, or yeah, getting close to full. So preferred to have pre-fight for this, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, like I said, it's been a while since I recorded this fight. Yeah, this cord has low sig, like sig 20, so the pre-fight is not really as necessary. So the main thing here is apply that slow debuff. I should have chose a different pre-fight for her so I can start in a different mode. Anyway. Alright, so now we got the slow debuff on him. So now we can freely do 5-hit combos. And if I block his SP1, her regeneration, her armor phase, or the regeneration through block will help in that case. Like I said, he's shrugging off every once in a while, but like I said, it's not annoying. Like I said, like, it's manageable if he's not shrugging off every single debuff and eventually putting you in the corner or triggering crowd charges, trying to run away from him, and then he becomes unblockable, unstoppable. That's when the fight gets really annoying. But if he has a low sig where he's shrugging off debuffs like a third of the time or 40% of the time, that's okay. I can deal with that. Every once in a while, you'll have that bad RNG, though, where he'll just, even though he has a 30% chance, he'll still shrug it as if he was sick, 200. But that doesn't happen very often. But, yeah, but this fight's going pretty well. For Sorcerer, we're just methodically taking him through this fight. So now we gotta do 3-hit combos now because I don't have that slow on him anymore. And unfortunately, he shrugged off that slow debuff. So we gotta go back to 3-hit combos. Trying to wait for that slow debuff rune to pop up again. I do have one stored up if I wanted to go ahead and use it. Yeah, so we throw the SP3 with the slow. So now every special I throw moving forward is going to have that slow debuff applied to him. So that way it makes the rest of this fight go smoothly. So we sacrifice the damage output just to get rid of the rock stat. But unfortunately, he restored that slow debuff. But his rock stats are gone at least. Alright, so now we got control of the fight. Now, the debuff does last longer when you apply it with SP2. There we go. It pauses for a good bit. So now we're just going to finish the fight. And we'll block it. Regeneration through the block. Not a big deal. I do have her now at max sig, so I can definitely see the difference between the potency of her blessings, because it basically makes that regeneration more potent. So regeneration through the block, effectively healing, it's like a free heal throughout the fight. So next fight here, I was debating who I should use. Sorcerer can work for this fight. I faced her with Nick I faced Nick Fury with her before, so I was debating what I should do, but then I kept going back and forth. I was saying, well, he's a rank 5 star, so, and plus I'm boosted, so might as well, I can use Quake for this fight. So I was really heavily thinking about who I should use, but either one, it wouldn't have been a bad option either way. Because I have fought her with Nick Fury, fought Nick Fury with Sorcerer successfully before on more difficult nodes, so. But just went to Quake. It's always a good opportunity to showcase Quake against some trickier opponents. Because Nick Fury, I said of course, he has the class advantage. So if he hits you, especially with that fourth light attack, yeah, that's going to be detrimental. It's going to hurt you pretty bad. But for the most part, his attacks are pretty easy to evade. Now, sometimes he'll randomly throw a heavy attack, which is kind of hard to evade all 3 hits, but it doesn't bleed you that much. Of course, if it crits, of course, it'll hurt you a little bit. But the bleed, at least, if you have willpower, you can actually heal from it. But the bleed doesn't take much damage. But the other thing you have to worry about is that if he's concussed with the aftershock charges and his health goes down to 0 in his first life, he's going to immediately purify that next parry. Once that second life starts, you have to be ready to restart your quaking. And there you go, right there. Because if you don't do that, then you're subject to get hit pretty hard on top of the Fury. And if he does a 5-hit light ending combo, I mean, that could do you in, especially if that you're already armor broken on this particular node, at least, so that damage will hit even harder. So that's the reason why Sorcerer was a thought about option here, but I'm comfortable quaking Nick Fury, where I said, okay, I can do this fight. So one more aftershock cycle should do it here. And there we go. All right, so this next fight, this is gonna be the trickiest fight of the war. Like our current person that normally takes this path was pretty ill, so we had our normal reserve guy fight this war. He took my path. He had stealth suit Spidey, so he was more compatible to use stealth suit against Rhino and Gladiator Hulk, who both have unstoppable factors in their attack. And Sorcerer Supreme, unfortunately, with the class disadvantage, she cannot apply a slow debuff. I could have quaked those fights as well, but this Hitmonkey is a tricky fight, so I wanted to take it. So there was a couple of things that was working against me on this fight. The main thing is Mystic Dispersion, because I was gaining too much power, if that's such a thing. Because it's good that I can keep recycling SP1s, and then I made a boo-boo there, because when he has both the Primal Rage, like that orange, and the purple meter going on at the same time, his specials are unblockable. And of course, that's hindsight, because that's knowledge I didn't 100% have going into the fight. But I recall Legacy having a video where he died to a Hitmonkey, and he swore not to bring Sorcerer to war anymore because of that, because she died to Hitmonkey on the Ebb and Flow knockdown because of that unblockable SP1. So really, so far we're doing pretty well, but it comes to a point where occasionally I throw an SP1 just to dump it away, because her SP1 can't be punished by the computer. So I'll purposely throw the SP1, and that was my first mistake of the fight. So now we're in a little bit of trouble here, because obviously he has 3 Furies, and I didn't really want him to have 3 Furies, because I'd rather him have 1. It's easier to purify one at a time, but now he's unblockable. So, and that's another reason why, because almost every hit that I'm delivering to him is triggering rage. So, and it didn't help that I had the 20% boost, attack boost, that 6 hours going on. So every hit was triggering rage, so that it was important to me to maintain that SP1 cycle. So unfortunately, Mystic Dispersion of all things didn't help. It messed up my cycle of just throwing SP1 all fight. When I threw that first SP2, that was the beginning of trouble, as you saw there. So because the unblockable doesn't go away until all the furies are gone. So, but we go back in. I said we don't even change Mystic Dispersion because we were doing pretty well up to that one point. I just have to make sure that I'm just dumping my SP1 if necessary and not even mess with it. Because outside of that, this fight is not that difficult. So just dump the SP1, nullify that one Fury versus having to deal with Furies piling up. And that way you can manage it better. We're just going to go ahead and dump this other one here. Yeah, so that should have been the strategy the whole time. But again, that SP2 barely prompt, and that cost me a death. So next fight, we got a Tigra, Power Focus 2. She can be Quake, but it's very tricky. I did try to do Tigra before. I had a 50% success rate as far as not getting hit the whole fight. I mean, of course, I was able to KO. Probably could have KO'd her with Quake and still got hit, but I didn't want her to risk with the Power Focus 2 getting hit with her special attack, because her special attack pretty much goes all screen. The SP1 is much easier to evade, of course. The SP2, I figured out how to evade that now, but it's still tricky. You prefer not to face the SP2. So I understand why she was placed on this node, because the SP2 Power Focus, she's able to build up to it sooner. Now, one thing about Tigra, she's kind of like Killmonger, Annihilus, where her dashing attack comes at you, so you can dash back light counter. So you saw I was able to easily dash back light counter there. So I think we're gonna do it one more time just to finish the fight in style. There we go, dash back light counter. So that's one thing you can do against her. That can help you out in a lot of scenarios. So that's another reason why I prefer to use magic. It was worth using that power boost. I probably could have gotten by without using it and just bait the SP1 a couple of times and then throw my SP through. So here we go. Next fight here, we have a Nova, and this fight's gonna be a little bit long because I'm usually pretty comfortable fighting him with magic on this node, but it's just some dynamics that I'm still rather be safe than sorry for, and that's regarding the auto block mechanic. So just rather not deal with it. So we'll just quake this fight and make the fight last longer. If you want to fast forward through this fight, that's totally fine. All right, and that's the end of that fight there. Like I said, it really wasn't much to commentate, so that's the reason why I just stopped. I just went ahead and restarted my voiceover here. So we're just taking a glance. I think this is the next morning. Not sure what I was looking for here. I guess I was trying to coordinate the left side there. But anyway, next morning we wake up. We got a Quake versus Man Thing. It's a pretty straightforward fight. This fight won't be as long as the Nova fight, so I'll commentate through here. But really, it's nothing special. She has the class advantage, so that helps. But it's not necessary to boost. I don't believe I boosted for this fight at all. And again, just like I've done in other Quake featured videos and War, the main thing you gotta recognize is the combo enders for the opponent. And the combo enders is either a second medium attack or a fourth light attack. The second medium attack can happen on any combo that's at least two hits long. It can be a 3-hit combo ending with a second medium. They go medium, light, medium, or light, medium, medium. It can be a 4-hit combo that ends with a medium, whether it's medium, light, light, medium, light, medium, or light, medium, medium. Yeah. And then, of course, you got your 5-hit combo ending with a medium. So I'm not going to go through all those different combinations of possibilities. But light, medium, medium. I think medium, light, medium. Those are the main ones that you'll see. There are a couple others that are unorthodox, but the opponent will throw those at you every once in a while. So you have to, but the main thing you got to really focus on is the combo enders. The fourth light attack can only happen 2 different ways, either a straight 4-hit light combo attempt or a 5-hit combo in with a fourth light attack. So you only got 2 combinations there, but didn't get a chance to identify those combo enders in that fight. But again, that's the thing you want to do there. So next fight here, we got a Killmonger. He's ranked 3. So this fight, I will heal myself up first because that reverb damage may be more devastating. And we're going to use an attack boost and probably a health boost as well, or champion boost. So that way we have ourselves a buffer for this fight compared to the fight we just had with Quake. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and apply that there. And I faced Killmonger on this node several times, and this is the primary reason really why I brought Sorcerer to War, because of this mini boss. Because this is a very tricky placement. We not to give too much of our defense away, but we do place our Killmonger on this node, and he gets kills pretty regularly on this node. Now this Killmonger has suicide, so it makes the degree of difficulty a little bit easier because he's going to be killing himself, throwing specials. And the thing about that suicides is that poison the opponent has, it scales with their rating. So unfortunately with his willpower, he's not healing from that poison. The poison is killing him over time at a higher rate. I can literally almost play keep away throughout the duration of this fight and be okay. And another thing that this suicides is doing is that it also is gaining me passive polka dot power over time. Sorcerer already has her power gain through her just being Sorcerer Supreme with the passive power gain. So the polka dot power, I was gaining power at a pretty good rate. So, and I guess I thought she had limbo, I guess. I just took a combo thinking I can heal it back. Because I used to fight her with magic now, but unfortunately she doesn't. That regeneration that she has is not limbo. So this fight here, I think we learned our lesson from previous war not to fight that fight. So we had somebody else take that fight. So the Nick Fury's actually, I found he's actually a pretty good safe option, especially if you apply the white Magneto guidance. So at this point, we got a pretty high death count in our alliance, in our battle group compared to normal wars. But as an alliance, as overall, we have a pretty good deficit against the opponent. So for that reason, we're not going to boost. We got a pretty good lead. I mean, and the fight, the war is essentially over. So we're just gonna do regular fight, and I believe this is a rank 3 apocalypse, if I'm not mistaken. It might be rank 2. I wasn't paying as much of attention. It might be rank 2, but we're not boosting. Only boost we got is the guidance boost. There will be a later war video that will likely get posted later this week. I will have sometime Tuesday to pump up some more war videos. Because my poker schedule, I normally play poker Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then the past few weekends, I've been going out of town playing poker. And then, of course, sometimes I usually play on Sundays. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are probably the best opportunities for me to put these videos edited together. But, of course, again, last Tuesday and Thursday have been more sick. So that's that. But this fight here, yeah, the more I think about it, I think this is a rank 3 defender. Because I know I recall fighting at least 2 rank 3 apocalypse bosses with magic without boosting because of the new technique that I don't know if I say I came up with. I'm pretty sure some other people that may not even post videos on YouTube is aware of this ability with magic that makes her a great option against Apocalypse on this node. And when you combine her SP3 damage output with the buff nullification and Mystic Dispersion to put yourself back near 2 bars of power, depending on your level of Mystic Dispersion, of course, and depending on the number of buffs on the opponent. So you have to practice how many buffs it takes based off your Mystic Dispersion level. If you run 3 Mystic Dispersion, the opponent may need to have 12 the buffs on them for you to be back up to 2 bars of power. Because effectively, you're still running the magic cycle. It's not even interrupted. Now, little things that I do there, if Limbo pops up, I'll purposely have him hit into my block because I'll actually heal that block damage back and then some because of my recovery mastery. So sometimes not a bad thing to do that. But now we're just trying to get the AI to cooperate again. So we're gonna shorten that combo, and we perfectly got that intercept there. So we're able to not have him throw a special. Again, we have him hit into my block because of Limbo. And luckily, he didn't backdraft parry me. I have had that happen in this fight before. It doesn't end up killing me, but it is kind of annoying to have that happen to you. So now the opponent has 7 buffs, so we're not quite at the point where we feel that we can gain 2 bars of power. Now the next magic cycle, I probably should be able to get there. Okay, there we go. We're gonna do one more, I believe. Yeah, one more SP2, steal that power, then we'll race ourselves up to 3 bars of power. And then this should nearly kill him. Or we don't. I think we just be conservative the rest of the way. I do believe I do eventually throw that SP3. I guess the SP3 in this point is gonna kill him at this stage. This should be enough damage to kill him. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. And he's done. So another magic one shot to Apocalypse in the belt without boost. And 238 hits against a rank 3. But we won this war. So again, we're doing pretty well after a bad start. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe.